Hello everyone, welcome to Court with Krissy. She's back. Our SHECit was making a special appearance for Mr. Holderman. It's his prelim. If you happen to miss the first appearance, link is in the video as well as in the description. Just remember, you can change your name, you can change your gender, but don't forget to change your fingerprints. I hope you like it. Court with Krissy is now in session.
Okay, so let's go on to the preliminary examinations. Do we still have a hearing on Barlow today?
I did a nollie on that this morning, Your Honor. The court would not have it, but
Okay.
should have it soon.
So it's just Holderman at this point.
Correct.
Mr. Burdett, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so this is People versus Benjamin Holderman Jr., file 3689 of 2025. Good morning, and Mr. Burdett is here on behalf of the defendant. Ms. Roberts for the people. Are both sides prepared to go forward with the preliminary examination?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything we need to take up before we get started with testimony?
No, sir.
Nothing for the people.
Then go ahead and call your first witness, Ms. Roberts.
People call Officer Melcher, Your Honor.
And if you could please raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. You can put your hand down and go ahead and have a seat. And please start by telling us both your first and last names and spell the last.
My name is John Melcher, last spelled M-E-L-C-H-E-R.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Roberts.
Officer, how are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed with the City of Traverse City Police Department.
And when you were you working in that capacity back on December 19th of 2024?
Yes,
Okay. Did you come into contact with an individual that you believe to be Benjamin Holderman at that time?
I believe them to be Melissa Hart at that time in December.
Okay, can you describe to the court what that means, or who you came into contact with?
Yes, so in December, one of my coworkers made us aware of a new person in town by the name of Melissa Hart. And I ended up coming in contact with them in January during a trespassing complaint where they gave me the name of Melissa Hart and a date of birth claiming to be out of Kentucky. I tried to run that name and leaned through Michigan and Kentucky where it did not come up as existing. And then at that time, I interacted with them again on a trespassing complaint where I tried to run the name again, came up, there's no record, where then one of my coworkers who used to work in the Kalamazoo County area was able to get in contact with the Kalamazoo County Jail, who was able to confirm their identity was really Benjamin Holderman and had the alias of Melissa.
Okay, and excuse me, did you arrest Miss Hart for anything?
No, I did not.
Okay. When you eventually confirmed that Miss Hart's, I guess, legal or birth name was Benjamin Holderman, what did you do with that information?
So I ran the name and date of birth in Lean, where I found they were on the sex offender registry. I then noticed that their registered address was still in Sturgis, Michigan. I then talked with my field training officer in the prosecuting attorney's office about pressing charges of a sex offender violation. So I put together a report and submitted it to the prosecuting attorney's office.
Okay, so as of at least the beginning of January, when you first had contact with Miss Hart, that would show at least a month of being in the Traverse City area, correct?
Correct.
And the address associated with the legal name of Benjamin Holderman was still out of town.
Correct.
Okay. Your Honor, can I approach the witness?
Sure.
I'm handing you what's been pre-marked as People's Exhibit 1, and I believe this is going to be admitted by stipulation for purposes of today's hearing.
Okay. Is that right, Mr. Burdett?
That's correct.
Okay, so we'll admit People's Exhibit 1.
Officer, what's the first criminal conviction there?
First criminal conviction is for criminal sexual conduct in the first degree.
Okay, and what's the date on that?
The date on that is 12/19 of 1996.
And in the information at the top of that criminal history, does it show a live scan result?
Yes, it does.
And live scan is fingerprints, right?
Mhm.
Sorry, is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. And what does the result show for the live scan fingerprint test?
It says Benjamin George Holderman Jr., white male, 04/12/1978.
And are you able to tell who conducted that live scan?
Yes, I am.
And who is that?
Jimmy Wood of the Grand Traverse County Jail.
Mayor, I have nothing further for this witness at this time. Take that exhibit back from me.
Mr. Burdette, any cross-examination?
Yes. When you first encountered my client, that was in January this year?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, and what was that for?
It was for a trespassing complaint at a beta station off of Barlow and Front Street.
Okay, and you indicated that she gave you the name of Melissa Hart?
Yes, Melissa Ann Hart.
Okay, okay. And I believe your testimony prior to that was somebody indicated to you that there was a Melissa Ann Hart that moved up here?
Yes, so Officer Krasinski works with, or is our North Boardman officer, and they sent out an email department-wide and letting the department know about their arrival in town,
Why would that be?
just to keep law enforcement in the area aware of who is in the area.
Okay. So the notice of my client being in town was under the Melissa Ann Hart name, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. And she gave you a date of birth?
yes.
Okay, what was the date of birth?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but if I was able to review my report, no.
Oh, that's fine. So when you first ran into my client, she gave you a name and she gave you a date of birth, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. Did she ever admit that she was this other person?
no,
Okay. And has she always held steadfast that she was Melissa Ann Hart, is that correct?
to me, yes.
I don't have any further questions.
Okay, any follow-up, Ms. Roberts?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you may step down, officer. Next witness,
I have no further witnesses, Your Honor.
Mr. Burdette, are you going to present any evidence today?
No, Your Honor.
All right, motion, Ms. Roberts?
Your Honor, I ask the court bind over on count one. Just a second, Your Honor, sorry. Given the testimony, Officer Melcher reviewed the criminal history that shows a prior conviction for a CSC first, which would require registry. And as testified, this individual has been in the Traverse City area for at least a month now. If we're talking back in December, it would be almost 3 months, and the address on her criminal history, or excuse me, her lien is still showing out of town. So that would show that she has not registered. I understand that she is, I guess, disputing that Benjamin Holderman is her, but given the live scan that was conducted by Sergeant Wood, that would show that the fingerprints associated with Miss Hart are actually the individual of the given legal name or birth name of Benjamin Holderman. So I'd ask the court bind over on the fail to register.
All right, Mr. Burdette, any argument?
Yes, Your Honor. My client maintains that she is Melissa Ann Hart. She told the police that was her name. She also gave a date of birth. And we still maintain that she is not Benjamin Holderman at this time.
Okay, well, I think that fingerprints that match the date of birth, the description and the of the subject, and are sufficient for purposes of this hearing to prove probable cause that the defendant is in fact Benjamin Holderman, not Melissa Hart. And there is evidence that the registered address is in Sturgis, Michigan, and so should have registered here if moving to Traverse City didn't do that. So I do find sufficient evidence to bind over on the charge of failed to register as a sex offender. And that's it. Anything else we need to take up before I sign the bind over?
Yes, sir, I have a motion as the bond.
Okay, go ahead.
Your Honor, my client is working with CMH in the area. He's working with Brandy Fitzgibbons. He is unable to afford the bond to be released from the jail. We're requesting as a PR bond for Miss Hart. She's served 9 days. She's been over in jail over 9 days, Your Honor, and we would like to request the bond reduced to a PR bond to allow to still consult with CMH and her caseworker.
Okay.
She'll remain in the area, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Roberts' response?
I guess just looking at the praxis itself, I'm not sure what the bond is actually set at right now.
5,000 cash.
5,000 cash. Certainly that bond would be appropriate. Just looking at, again, the praxis. The defendant states she's been homeless for 7 to 8 years, unemployed for 1.5 years. She's got no local ties to the area. There's an outstanding warrant in Kent County. Certainly the failure to comply with the SORA requirements would lend towards an inability or lack of compliance with a bond order or bond conditions. So I think some cash bond is appropriate here. Thank you.
Right, and the other reasons for the cash bond were 2 or more violent convictions. And there is in the pending jailable offense, that must be the one out of Kent County that there's a warrant. But I'm primarily concerned about the nature of this offense. We've got someone who's homeless and unemployed for substantial periods of time, no ties to the area. And if the prosecution is right about this one, and I just found probable cause that it is, then the defendant is attempting to pass himself off as someone else, and that doesn't give me a lot of confidence that he would appear in the future. So if anything, I would say the bond is too low, but the fact that he's not posted, I'm going to leave it alone. So I'm not going to modify the bond at this time. All right, so the examination was held. The defendant is bound over to the circuit court on the charge and the complaint to appear next on March 21st at 8 a.m. for the circuit court pretrial conference. Bond is continued, and Mr. Burdett, arraignment, please. Arraignment?
Yes, sure. We'll waive any further meeting information.
Okay, and you've no doubt advised your client of the nature of the charges. Well, you just heard them, but the maximum penalties for those as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're waiving a further reading, correct?
That's correct.
Then I will enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, and if there's nothing else, we're all set for this morning. Thank you.